Thank you to Simply Safe for sponsoring today's video. Simply Safe is the security system experts trust. U.S. News, PC Magazine, and Popular Science all rank Simply Safe Home Security as the best home security of 2021. And U.S. News just named Simply Safe the best home security of 2022. Our Simply Safe system gives us peace of mind that every window, room, and door is protected all day, whether we're home or not. It's backed by the best 24/7 professional monitoring in the business. They're ready to dispatch police, firefighters, and EMT to your home whenever you need it. The wireless system was so easy to set up. With a comprehensive set of sensors and cameras, including the all-new wireless outdoor security camera, we always know what's going on inside and outside of our home. We love that there's no long-term contract. You can even try it risk-free to see if you like it. If you don't, send it back free of charge with nothing to lose. Simply Safe protects 1 in a million homes in the United States alone. Check it out. Save 20% on your Simply Safe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan and get your first month free. Visit simplysafe.com/redpoppyranch to learn more.
This is the 5-string barbed wire fence that I put in a few years back, separating our land from the new land. I rented a backhoe for the day to move some big heavy concrete blocks around that I recently picked up. And I got that job done, so I've got a few hours to push over a few trees. I didn't think we really would ever own this piece of land because of how hard we had to work to get it and because of how long it took to finally get the deal done. I now find myself a little bit hesitant to dive into the work that I know is required to get this next piece of property turned into a usable piece of property that will make our existing place much safer and again much more usable. In the early days when I started clearing the property, I learned fairly quickly that an excavator was really the only tool to use. In that first year, I went through and thinned out the maple trees up on our hillside, and then I left those trees for another year before I finally got up there and cleaned them up with an excavator. Using the backhoe to thin trees is significantly more work than it is with the excavator. It appears that the snowpack and the rain have done their job, the lakes are full, and we seem to be on track to have a good year with water, at least in our neck of the woods. That is what $17.50 alfalfa looks like. 3 years ago we paid about $6 a bale for the same alfalfa. But diesel is still over $5 a gallon, and that will also affect the price of hay.
Isn't it like not good hay because it's not the season?
It's definitely last year's hay. I just spread it up. It's just kind of stemmy. It's not too bad.
This is not the best hay we have ever had. Most 2-string bales weigh around 60 pounds, and these bales are not quite that. But it's feed for the goats.
They're being a little picky right now, aren't they?
They want the green stuff.
Well, I left Chattanooga, boy, had a dollar and a dime. Headed out to Nashville on the Hard Rock Line. I'm working on that old steamboat and learned to ride. When my feet had touched dry land, how happy I did feel. Been saving every penny for to make up through the fall. Working for that dollar, but it never adds up at all. Coming around the river bank, heard the old train whistle sing. The very next thing you hear from me, I've been tied to a ball and chain. Well, come this time tomorrow, reckon I don't know where I'll be. But if it wasn't for that old sheriff, I'd be back in Tennessee. Playing cards and crap games, not looking for the score. And if I ever get back home again, I'll never roam no more. Gather round, you good time boys, listen to my song. May not know better, but I know you know right from wrong.
Well, it is officially that time around here. It's time to take the new to me 4th Gen Dodge Cummins, put a 2.5 inch leveling kit on it along with wheels and tires, and get her sitting pretty. This is your basic 2.5 inch leveling kit with new shocks, so it should be a pretty quick and easy install. These are some of the first improvements I will do to my new truck. The same exact week that this 2012 regular cab Dodge Cummins popped up on the internet for sale, so did this truck. Look familiar? It looks as though it's seen better days, but man, that flatbed would look good on this truck. Those pictures are of the first truck that I purpose built just to get up to our place. I went back and forth on that truck, and while I'd love to have that aluminum flatbed, I think you'll agree with me by the end of this video that this truck looks pretty dang good with the new wheels and tires and the current bed that's on it. The initial plan was to order a Thurin kit to go on this front end, which is probably what I'll end up doing at some point down the road. But I bought the truck in Wisconsin, and between buying the truck and driving halfway across the country to get it home, I must have ordered this fairly inexpensive leveling kit you could find on the internet because it was sitting here when I got home. I kept the wheels and tires off of my second gen Dodge Cummins before I got rid of it a while back. I had been looking on the internet for quite a long time to try and find a regular cab Dodge Cummins with the 6.7 in it with fairly low miles. And when I talked to the salesman that morning, I was the 8th person from 8 different states to call in on the truck. The truck is a 2012 one-owner Dodge Ram Cummins, and the truck was deleted almost immediately after the truck was purchased, and this is why I know that this truck will last a very, very long time, and that's why I went out of my way to get the truck. The truck has 46,000 miles on it, and I'm pretty sure I paid more for it than what it sold for new in 2012.
What do you think you're going? Little miss? Where's your seatbelt?
You do a business.
What's the matter?
Bye.
Ruby?
It breaks my heart to drive that truck up and down our road, and truthfully those new wheels and tires look good, but they're going to put rock chips all over the truck. And so I'm definitely going to have to do something to slow that down. My gut feeling is that with all of the pre-emissions, pre-DEF diesels that are still in decent shape, my gut feeling is that those trucks are going to become more and more valuable and maybe even become collectible in some cases. But with the way things are going, I felt the need to have a good, dependable truck that I didn't have to worry about driving halfway across the country if I wanted to go pick something up. So for the first time in a long time, I got me a nice truck. This is the last little bit of siding that I need to get off on the entire house. And of course, this is the siding that's fighting me and refusing to let loose of the 2.5-inch ring shank nails that I used to nail it up with. So this next piece of wood is a really good example of a piece of wood that I do not want to break. It's got at least 2 vertical boards in it for the board and batten, maybe even 3, so I need to get it off in one piece if I can. This is the hardest part of the entire process. Being patient enough to not rip everything off the front of the house and destroy everything in the process, but simply working through it so that some of this wood is reusable. As I'm working right now, I've got hummingbirds hovering all around me waiting for Cedar to put up her hummingbird feeder for the first time. So I've got to get this thing done so they can have their feeders back. I picked up what I hope will be the last little bit of the 1x12 board and batten siding that will be needed to finish the back and the far side of the house as well, so I should have everything here that I need. I originally paid less than $1,000 for a grade 2 bunk of 1x12 Doug-fir siding. This was siding that was originally not good enough for grade 1, but still good enough to be used somewhere. And it was sold by a somewhat local lumber store. And of course, had I known where things would be at now, I would have bought all of the bunks that they had sitting there, which I think was 3 or 4. Most definitely one of the long-term plans that I have is to get the sawmill rebuilt in a way where I can mill up whatever lumber I need to mill up. And I can actually go out of my way to find large quantities of standing dead logs that I can use and have on hand whenever I may need something. But I've got to use as much of this existing siding to get the board and batten done first. The line at which I cut the second story board and batten siding off at is exactly where the new porch roof line will tie in. I will put up a 2x12 ledger board to secure all of the roof rafters off of for the new front porch. And then once that's been done, I can start the process of reinstalling the board and batten siding for the final time. And you can't believe how bad I want to be done with this project. A couple of weeks back when I flew out to Wisconsin to pick up that new Dodge truck and drive it back, I had never been to that part of the country, at least driving. Naturally, I'd flown over it many times, but driving back from Wisconsin to Idaho ended up being a lot of fun, although I was stuck in a rainstorm for most of that trip. But what I found as I drove back across America is exactly what I thought I would find. A lot of barns, a lot of cows, a lot of open farmland, and a lot of American flags. The only thing I was missing was the mountains. At every gas station that I may have stopped at, or every place that I stopped at to get food along the way, everyone was more than kind to me. I never had any negative interactions of any kind. People were genuine. I nearly pulled off at Mount Rushmore, as I should have, but again the rainstorm kept me from doing that. But I did stop in Belle Fourche for an Egg McMuffin. Now you have to figure out what famous movie I would have watched over and over growing up as a kid where the place Belle Fourche was mentioned. Let me know in the comments. Still to this day, I bet we as a family watch that movie probably 4 times a year. And if you're gonna go, you come tell me though, and I'll set my timer. And then if I don't find you, if you don't come back in 30 minutes, I'll come looking for you. It's not that far. I did it the other day.
Good.
But you have to stay together if you're gonna do it.
Was it bad?
It's just that one little spot's a little bit bumpy. You have to go through the creek. You get your tires wet. You can wash all the mud off your tires. Just don't. But they just decided for the first time that they wanted to drive all the way back to the cow pond by themselves, which is a little ways back, I suppose, for a couple of young kids. But the ranger's in the shop, so if they don't show up in 30 minutes, I get to go hiking. But I'm sure they'll be right back. Our lives revolve around those four-wheelers, especially in the warmer months. And so Callie and Reed have to get more and more comfortable, especially on the hillside. They have to know their limits with those four-wheelers around here and get comfortable enough just using them in their everyday life. Just because there's so many places around here that we'll have to always use them. So.
You don't know what it was? You didn't break anything. When you get water on a warm motor, it makes steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't break anything. You're okay, buddy.
Okay, me and Nate made it to the cow pond by ourselves, and it's really high right now, and the creek is really high. It's really pretty up here, but it was really fun.
We drove our four-wheelers all the way up to the cow pond, and it's really, really high, and it was really fun coming up here. Our dad told us that we could, and I got really scared because it's really bumpy.
This is Ray's beautiful outfit that he rode on the long four-wheeler ride.
Callie just got braces, so she's having to get used to that right now, but it's sure fun to watch these kids get out and stretch their wings around our place, that's for sure. Okay, because I cut the original Tyvek house wrap, I now need to fix that seal somehow, and basically the only option I have is to push the new house wrap up underneath that. And then once I've got the new house wrap, hopefully 3 or 4 inches up under the old house wrap, then I'm also going to put the flashing for the new roof up under that as well. But the house wrap is the first step. Any more than 2 layers of house wrap can complicate the house's ability to breathe properly and can potentially lead to mold issues, but in our situation I needed to put new house wrap up because the Tyvek had been damaged in the process of removing all of the siding. But let me clarify how I'm going to get the house watertight again. Because I scored the house wrap when I was removing the board and batten siding for the ledger board, I now have to push new house wrap up under the existing second story board and batten siding, then put the flashing in, then we should be good to go. On this coming Wednesday's video, I will continue working on the front porch and hopefully get that framed in and wrapped up pretty quick. But this week, Cedar and I took Reed and Callie and we went and spent some time up at the new little tiny off-grid cabin, and we had a whole lot of fun. And we can't wait to share that with you. Again, we thank you for taking time to watch our videos and we hope you're safe.